If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Cleveland Browns fans woke up on Monday, still trying to process what exactly they had witnessed the day before, and honestly, who could blame them? A rookie quarterback making his regular season debut in the middle of a heated divisional matchup, a concussion to the starter that threw the depth chart into chaos, and a head coach who suddenly found his development plan under a national microscope. It was the kind of NFL drama that practically writes itself. But when the dust settled from that 23-16 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, one question loomed over Bria louder than any other. Does Kevin Stefanski regret how he handled Shedeur Sanders leading up to that rough debut? And if he doesn't, should he? From the moment Shedeur Sanders walked to the podium after the game and used the word rough to describe his own performance, you could tell the kid understood exactly what had just happened. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. He knew he had completed just 4 of 16 pass attempts. He knew those 47 passing yards weren't going to silence critics. He knew the interception, the intentional grounding call, and the sacks all fed into a narrative that was already forming. Maybe the Browns had thrown him into the deep end before he learned how to swim. But what mattered even more was the reaction from the man responsible for putting him there. And on Sunday night, Stefanski offered something that caught a lot of people off guard. A reminder that this was the first time Sanders had played with the actual starters since draft weekend. That comment alone set off a wave of takes across the football world. How could a rookie quarterback, a player the Browns clearly believed in enough to make their QB2, go months without taking meaningful reps alongside the players he would theoretically lead if an emergency rose? It immediately raised eyebrows. Some former players turned talking heads didn't hold back. Damian Woody and Shannon Sharpe were among the loudest voices, saying the whole thing felt like a setup, whether intentional or not. They argued that you can't expect a young quarterback to survive an NFL defense, let alone a ferocious Ravens unit, when he's spent the better part of 6 months working with practice squad receivers and backup linemen. And if you listen closely, you could almost hear the frustration in their tone, because they weren't blaming Sanders, they were pointing directly at Stefanski. So when Stefanski met with the media again on Monday and was hit with the obvious question, would he change anything about how he handled Shedeur Sanders, everyone leaned in. This was the moment. This was where he could express regret, acknowledge an oversight, or give even the faintest hint that maybe, just maybe, the process could have been better. But Stefanski wasn't having it. He didn't flinch. He didn't back down from his approach. Instead, he doubled down on his philosophy, telling reporters that player development isn't about a single practice or a single week, but something that happens constantly and collectively over time. And if you read between the lines, what he was really saying is this: the Browns don't believe in micromanaging growth. They believe in preparation through repetition, structure, and trust. Now, that word, trust, came up a lot. And that wasn't by accident. Stefanski emphasized it repeatedly, talking about trusting players, trusting backups, trusting the process, and in his mind, Shedeur Sanders was ready to go on Sunday. Whether the box score agreed with that or not was beside the point. Stefanski made it clear that the coaching staff believed Sanders had earned the right to be next in line after they traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals earlier in the month. That trade sent a clear message. They were shifting the organizational focus toward developing the younger quarterbacks, not relying on a veteran safety net. But with that choice came risk. And on Sunday, the downside of that risk was on full display. You could argue that the timing of everything made the situation even more chaotic. The Browns weren't planning to play Sanders in Baltimore. That wasn't the script. Dillon Gabriel was supposed to command the huddle, manage the offense, and give Cleveland at least a chance to keep pace with Lamar Jackson. But football doesn't care about scripts. When Gabriel suffered a concussion and was immediately ruled out, Stefanski had no option but to push Sanders into the spotlight. And in that moment, Sanders didn't just inherit a football game. He inherited expectations, hope, panic, and criticism all at the same time. But here's the thing, Stefanski insists Sanders was ready. Maybe he wasn't prepared to dominate, but prepared in the sense that he understood the offense, knew the reads, and had absorbed enough mental reps to operate if needed. Still, the noticeable lack of time spent with the starting group is what left so many people puzzled. How can a head coach defend that? Stefanski's answer was simple. That's how the NFL works. The starter gets the Overwhelming majority of the reps, the backup, rookie or not, lives in the shadows until the moment he's called upon. It's a system designed for stability, not comfort, and in Stefanski's view, deviating from that structure, because a rookie lacks experience, would undermine the very process he believes in, of course. That explanation didn't calm the debate. If anything, it amplified it. Because this wasn't just any week, this wasn't just any rookie. This was Shedeur Sanders, a polarizing, high-profile quarterback with star potential and the pressure of a massive public spotlight. Fans didn't want an abstract explanation about the philosophy of reps, they wanted accountability. They wanted to know why Sanders didn't get more work earlier in the season. They wanted to know whether the coaching staff underestimated the possibility that Gabriel could get hurt. They wanted to know why a game plan wasn't already in place that suited what Sanders does best. And most importantly, they wanted reassurance that Sunday's performance wasn't a sign of what's to come. Stefanski gave them the closest thing to reassurance when he said Sanders would improve with live reps, game planning, and extended practice time, all of which he'll finally get this week, as the presumed starter heading into the matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders for the first time since arriving in Cleveland. Sanders will take the majority of the first-team reps. He'll get to develop chemistry with the receivers he'll actually throw to on Sunday. He'll have a full week of meetings, where the playbook can be tailored to his strengths instead of being forced into a system crafted for someone else. In other words, he'll truly have a chance. But with that chance comes pressure, and lots of it. Because make no mistake, if Sanders struggles again this Sunday, if he looks overwhelmed or hesitant or rattled the way he did against Baltimore, it's not just going to be another rough outing, it's going to be a signal, a loud one, that he's not ready yet. And if that happens, the Browns won't hesitate to send him back to the bench the moment Gabriel clears protocol. Stefanski said he trusts Sanders, but trust in the NFL is earned one performance at a time, and right now, Sanders has exactly one performance on his resume, and it isn't one he wants to be defined by. Still, if you step back and look at the bigger picture, there's something almost poetic about the situation. The Browns drafted Sanders for his upside, his poise, his natural feel for the position, his ability to extend plays, and that calm confidence he inherited from his father. None of those traits disappeared because of one ugly half of football. If anything, adversity tends to harden young quarterbacks, not break them. And Sanders doesn't strike anyone as the type to get rattled by outside noise. If anything, he might thrive off it. But while Sanders has his own growth to focus on, the spotlight remains firmly on Stefanski. Is his approach truly the best way to develop a rookie quarterback? Is his belief in structure and consistency admirable or outdated? Did the Browns put Sanders in a position to succeed? Or did they sabotage him by failing to prepare him for the moment? These are questions that won't be answered at a podium or in a press conference. They'll be answered on the field, and that's why this week feels massive, not just for Sanders, but for everyone in Cleveland, because if Stefanski's process is going to work, if Sanders is going to rebound the way the coach believes he will, it has to start now in Las Vegas, under the lights, with every eye on him, with every doubt following him, with every snap serving as a chance to rewrite the narrative that took shape on Sunday. So does Stefanski regret how he handled Sanders? He says no. And maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he genuinely believes this was just one chapter in a long development arc. Maybe in the grand scheme, this rough debut won't matter. But if Sanders struggles again, those words will come back to haunt him. And if Sanders shines, that confidence in his process will suddenly look like wisdom. Either way, the next few days will define not just the rookie quarterback's trajectory, but the legacy of the coach who believes he's ready, whether the rest of the world sees it or not. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Rumors are swirling in the NFL world, and this one is already setting social media on fire. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, is reportedly losing his patience with one of his own players, and insiders are suggesting that a significant shakeup might be imminent. The whispers started small, barely audible in casual sports chats, but now they are echoing through locker rooms and fan forums with a volume that cannot be ignored. Sources close to the team, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, have been hinting at tension that has been brewing beneath the surface for weeks. And the narrative that has begun to take shape is nothing short of explosive. Stefanski allegedly wants this particular player out of the organization, while the identity of the player remains murky. The story itself has captured the attention of Browns supporters, rival fans, and league watchers alike. It's the kind of rumor that could dominate headlines for days, perhaps weeks, as fans dissect every interview, social media post, and sideline gesture for clues. Insiders describe the situation as a perfect storm of frustration and high expectations colliding. Stefanski, who has been celebrated for his strategic acumen and relatively calm demeanor on the sidelines, is said to have reached a breaking point, according to sources. This is not a case of a minor disagreement or a single heated moment during practice. Rather, it's a culmination of ongoing issues that have reportedly strained the coach-player relationship. Reports suggest that Stefanski's patience has been tested repeatedly, and he is no longer willing to tolerate what he perceives as a lack of commitment or alignment with the team's vision. The notion that a head coach of Stefanski's caliber would request a player's departure is significant. It sends a signal not only to the locker room, but also to the broader league that internal discipline and organizational culture are priorities for the Browns leadership. Analysts have started speculating about the ripple effects if Stefanski succeeds in moving this player. It could mark a turning point in how the Browns approach roster management and team cohesion. Moving forward, the fan reaction has been immediate and electric. Social media platforms are buzzing with theories, memes, and speculation, and the tension is palpable among those who follow the Browns religiously. Some supporters are backing Stefanski, praising his willingness to make tough calls in the name of team success. Others are expressing disbelief, questioning whether the rumored move could destabilize a roster that has struggled to find consistent rhythm in recent seasons, adding fuel to the fire. Former players and commentators have begun weighing in, offering their perspectives on the delicate balance between talent management and locker room morale. The conversations are not just about performance on the field, they are about leadership, respect, and the kind of culture Stefanski seems determined to cultivate. The rumor has even reached mainstream sports media, where the narrative is evolving from casual chatter to something that might have real consequences for both the player involved and the Browns' trajectory. What's particularly intriguing about this situation is the subtlety of the signals being reported. Sources suggest that Stefanski's discontent is not always overt. It can manifest in quieter ways that insiders pick up on: shorter practice sessions, strategic sidelining during drills, and pointed discussions in the coaching room. These small but telling actions have reportedly fueled the speculation that Stefanski is prepared to make a bold statement. It's the kind of maneuver that, if true, could redefine the perception of his coaching philosophy. Fans and pundits alike are dissecting video clips and practice reports, looking for signs of friction or altered playing time. Every sit-along glance, every muted gesture in the locker room is being scrutinized through a magnifying glass of rumor and conjecture. The intensity of this scrutiny is amplified by the sheer curiosity of the football community, which thrives on behind-the-scenes drama as much as it does on on-field heroics. The timing of this rumor also raises interesting questions. The NFL is a league where narratives can shift in an instant, and a coach's decision to push for a player's departure can resonate far beyond a single roster spot. If Stefanski's reported demands come to fruition, the implications could affect the Browns' strategic planning, trade discussions, and even draft priorities. Rival teams are reportedly monitoring the situation closely, sensing an opportunity to swoop in if a talented player suddenly becomes available. Under contentious circumstances, agents and front office executives, too, are undoubtedly circling, ready to assess the potential leverage or fallout from a coach-player standoff. Within this context, the rumor takes on an almost cinematic quality, where the plot twists are driven by personalities, ambitions, and the high-stakes nature of professional sports. For the Browns, the management of this story, whether through confirmation, denial, or strategic silence, may prove as important as any play call on the field. Meanwhile, speculation about the identity of the player is reaching fever pitch. Fans are throwing out names, analyzing statistics, and trying to match the rumor with recent reports of performance concerns or contract discussions. Every hint from local beat reporters is being magnified into potential proof, and every vague comment from team insiders is dissected for hidden meaning. The uncertainty is part of what makes the story so compelling. The combination of mystery, tension, and potential consequences keeps people talking, and in the digital age, where every rumor can trend in minutes, the story has already taken on a life of its own. With Twitter threads, YouTube comment sections, and fan forums serving as echo chambers for conjecture. For some, it's a chance to flex analytical skills, to debate the implications of Stefanski's alleged ultimatum. For others, it's pure entertainment, a real-life drama unfolding on the backdrop of America's most-watched sport. Despite all the buzz, there are still many unknowns. Will the player in question push back against the coach? Will the Browns front office intervene to mediate? Or will they side fully with Stefanski's vision? And, perhaps most importantly, what does this mean for the team's culture and performance moving forward? Each scenario carries its own risks and rewards, and insiders admit that the situation is fluid. With developments possible at any moment, the rumor has already sparked a flurry of hypothetical analysis. Some imagine the Browns emerging stronger and more unified if the change occurs, while others foresee tension spreading through the locker room, potentially destabilizing cohesion at a critical juncture. The stakes are undeniably high, and the entire league is watching closely, eager to see how one of its most respected coaches handles a reported internal crisis. The ripple effects could be felt across multiple teams and even influence broader conversations about leadership in professional football as the story develops. One thing is certain: Kevin Stefanski's alleged demand is generating conversation, debate, and controversy that shows no signs of slowing down. For fans, it's a chance to peek behind the curtain of a high-stakes, high-pressure environment, where decisions can be as consequential off the field as they are on it. For analysts and commentators, it's an opportunity to dissect coaching philosophy, player dynamics, and organizational priorities in real time. And for the Browns organization, the rumor itself is a challenge to manage perception, morale, and strategy all at once. Whether this is the beginning of a seismic roster shift, or simply a fleeting whisper of locker room drama, the intrigue surrounding Stefanski's reported stance has already made an indelible mark on the narrative of the season. In the world of professional football, where every sideline exchange, every press conference, and every locker room gesture is scrutinized, this rumor, loud, persistent, and electrifying, has all the hallmarks of a story that could define not only a coach's legacy, but the trajectory of an entire franchise. Fans, pundits, and rival teams will be watching closely, waiting to see what unfolds next in a saga that promises drama, tension, and plenty of unexpected twists. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!